Yeah. We on some next shit with this. Hey yo, fuck your shoebox money. You buying whips with cryptocurrency right now. Yeah. Tyler Durden, make them holler murder. Take them to the highest point of the earth, no need to follow further. The shit is universal, no time to do rehearsal. I never take a break, that shit is too commercial. I wasn't raised different, I was made different. Flow don't fuck around like it was raised Christian. Antisocial with these kids, we don't play with them. We just keep a small circle and we stay lifted. I need Monopoly bread. Told her if it ain't sex, then it gotta be head. I'm sure you got some candles, I prefer the sloppy instead. Do my own thing and they prefer to copy instead. The money got them in a frenzy, probably wanna envy. Glass half full, but the bottle's left empty. Baby,
We wanted to do something crazy. Hello, Kiev. It's good to see you again. We were here last year, and we had a lot of fun, also doing a crazy dance. I don't know who of you saw that time, but it was pretty crazy. We wanted to show a little bit of craziness, because this talk is about how to build multi-API blockchain solutions. And, well, when we walk around at blockchain conferences, we have a saying in our team, and it's called watching the blockchain bullshit bingo, because there's a lot of things being sold, and there's a lot of bullshit being sold. So, but if we want to get beyond the bullshit, we have to take off the beautiful glasses, and we have to find out what is real. I'll take this note as, so keep track of where I am. So, we have a saying in Ukraine, I think, and I'm not Ukrainian, but I think you know the saying. So can somebody tell me what it means? What does it mean, this saying, when it's down to blockchain bullshit bingo? Anybody?
Lasha, help me.
Do you know it? Not really.
He's Georgian, but he can read it.
You can read it. Well, what does it say?
Сказав, як бочку пірнув.
Okay, it has something to do with farting in a barrel, right? And when you fart in a barrel, you're basically talking about stuff which is more or less bullshit. So, if we want to cut through the bullshit, we have to look at some problems we see in the blockchain scene today. And one of them is there's a lot of innovation, which is good. But the downside of that is that there's a lot of people building their own solutions in their own way. So there's a lack of standardization. What we want to do is look at how you can build a blockchain solution, but then using standardized methods. And if you're building directly on a chain like, say, Bitcoin or Ethereum, then you're building something that's very specific. But the problem is that when you're done building it, it's not compatible with other blockchains that are completely different. And so what we've been doing is looking at how to tackle this problem from our perspective. And we've been building an open source platform, which is called Hybrix. And this platform is made by a non-profit foundation. And what we want to reach is the possibility of standardizing things in blockchain. So I want to just show you a little bit of what you can do with Hybrix. I didn't have a live connection here with the laptop, so I've just taken some screenshots. But if you go and download Hybrix, you can do exactly the same things. And I thought I'd just cut through all the bullshit and see if we can just show some things on the terminal here. So let me see where we're going to go. So yeah, one of the things I think is important is that when you work with a platform or with something third party, that you shouldn't trust us, but you should trust the code. And so you can download also the code of Hybrix and look through it and make your own opinion. We'd like to hear from you. Do you think it's bullshit what we're building, or do you think it's good? And if it's bullshit, we want to hear how and why, so that we can make it better. So when you start Hybrix, you see it start up. It's just a node, and all it does is connect to different chains. It starts a cron system, a scheduler, and inside that system, there's a lot of things happening, but the main takeaway is that from the outside, you can send it commands, and it will perform those commands for you, making some things a lot easier. This is an example little application we built on it. It may not look very snazzy, but down to earth, it simply is a wallet, which only needs a text interface to function. So if you can do that with these tools, it means that you don't need a whole web browser or whatever to perform complex cryptographic functions. And so in the basis, we want the design to be secure, and we want to make sure that you can work with it whether or not you can rely on a certain browser. So you might think, okay, I want to build my chain solution. What blockchain shall I choose? And there's many choices. You have, for example, a well-known one is Ethereum. You also have Waves, which is becoming more well-known. There's the upcoming Tron, which is, kind of hyped. And there's a lot of things you could choose, but which one is the best one? And myself, when I was building something, I was doubting if I wanted to build it on Ethereum, because I really like the way Ethereum does things. But on the other hand, what if I build it all the way on Ethereum, but I just want to switch the chain and say, okay, I want to do it on something else? Is that possible? Well, if I built it in Solidity, I might be able to move it to Tron, but I can't move it to, say, Next or NEM. And I think that's a problem. I think you should be able to move your project from chain to chain and just have a choice in what you're doing. So if you perform hybrixd/asset from the command line, the same thing can be done from a web interface as well. You'll see a lot of assets and tokens and chain systems it supports. So you can switch blockchain whenever you want. And that, I think, is one of the powers of what we're building. Here's another few small examples from the terminal. So if you, let's say, do /asset/btc/sample, you'll see it give back a sample address and a sample transaction ID. And if you query those, you can see how much BTC are on that chain. In this case, it's the Bitcoin chain. But you can also do the same for all kinds of other chains, like Lisk or Waves. And the response is always simple. It's always clear. In this case, the response is JSON, but because it's being translated in this command line interface, you simply see the answer. Another one, the fee. So if you want the Bitcoin fee, you can get it. And there's a lot more tools in there just getting the balance and fees. But I want to get started simple first to make sure everybody can follow along. So in this case, you can also receive transactions, track those transactions when they're received, and start building your app on that. Here we have another example of what we call an engine. So in Hybrix, you can't just interact with blockchains and cryptocurrencies. You can also build your own engines. And those engines are like smart contracts that don't need a blockchain to function. So what they will do is just perform certain commands and things on multiple ledgers and give you the response. Here's an example of an engine we made called Valuations. And what it can do is convert from one currency to another. It pulls data in from several sources to do this. From, of course, cryptocurrency exchanges, as we all know, but also from the European Central Bank. And you can define which sources you want to use. So if you download Hybrix and you say, well, I don't like the European Central Bank, well, then change the source. And it will turn all that information into a matrix. And that matrix will be read to determine the valuation. So here you see that we go from euro to US dollar, from Bitcoin to, what's the currency called here? Hryvnia? Is that right? And then you also have that you can input multiple amounts, of course, which is, in this case, it's just a simple engine, or it's simple to use, and it does one thing and it does it well. And that's kind of the Unix philosophy, which is also what we subscribe to. Here's another example. You can also read transactions and get data from them, which is, in Bitcoin terms, called the op return. Well, other blockchains can do this as well. So it would be great if you can just shoot data into the blockchain and get it back out. And you don't want to think about which blockchain it is. You want to be able to use any blockchain. And here you see we're getting a message from the Lisk blockchain. If you use the attachment function, you just get the raw data. And in Lisk, in that case, it's a JSON response. But if you use the /message function, you'll always get the human readable message. In this case, Corbin3 wishes you a happy new year, which is very nice of him. So, of course, there's other functions like history. Here you can get the history from, in this case, a Lisk address. A lot of hashes are used, and with those hashes, you can get the actual history contents of the transaction data. This is, for example, reading out a transaction. Instead of getting hex and difficult codes that you just have to sort out again, which all takes time. It's development time, it's business time, it's money, it's a waste of resources. How about just translating it into what you can read and what you can instantly use to make your data work for you? So this is one of the ways you can do that. So in essence, what we think is really important is we're working as a non-profit, which means we want to do it differently than a lot of businesses. We don't want to own other people's data. We want other people to own their own data. And I think that's very important. I think that's what Bitcoin is all about. I think that's what cryptocurrency is all about. And I think that should return back into the crypto sphere. Here's another example of another app we made. It's also a command line app, but you can go beyond that and go into the browser. So this is, again, the app for also on the command line to work as a wallet. And then here you have a browser wallet example that we built on Hybrix. So building on Hybrix makes it much easier, much cheaper, much faster to bring your idea to fruition. If you sign in, you can see in this wallet exactly the same contents of the wallet as you saw on the command line. Both wallets work the same way, and they were both easy to build because Hybrix is simply a tool that gives you power. And this is our website, hybrix.io. So if you want to kind of check it out, give us feedback. If you want to tell us if you like it, if you think it's nice, if you think it's okay, or if you think it's bullshit, we want to hear your feedback. Please go to the website, check it out. You can see here a few examples of code as well of how you can use Hybrix. And just have fun, bring the fun back into blockchain, but also save time, save resources. Let's make a standard. Thank you.